So I just had a pretty rough night, to say the least. And I'm gonna tell you the whole story so that you can understand what it's all about. Yesterday, before I went to bed, I was gonna take my growth hormone, like I usually do. So I took my growth hormone, and then I went to bed. And during the night, I had a dream that I was lifting, and for some reason, I just couldn't generate power when I was lifting. And it felt like if I just pushed myself hard, I would shit myself. And that feeling was very real. So the feeling was so real that I kind of understood that it was real. And it made me wake up because I felt like something was wrong with my stomach, which it was. So I just went straight to the bathroom and thank you. Let me say this. It was a rough night for me, but it was probably even worse for the toilet. I blew up the toilet completely, just like that. From waking up from having the dream that I couldn't train properly because my gut was gonna not keep it together. I thought that the problem was the meal that I had the night before. If you watched my previous video, you know that I had a different meal that I had not had in a long time. It was my first fatty meal in a very long time. I don't typically eat that much fat, and I had a big salmon meal. So I thought that maybe my stomach couldn't handle all the fats, and that was the reason. And also, when I went to the toilet, I had this burp. So I had a burp, and the taste and the smell of the burp was the same taste or smell as if I had eaten something bad. And I remember that from the last time I had food poisoning, that was the exact same smell from the burp. So I thought that the salmon was bad, even though it tasted great. So it felt weird because the salmon was great, it tasted great, it was all delicious. And then, you know, I went up and down, back and forth between my bed trying to sleep and my stomach needing to do what it needed to do, you know, blow up the toilet pretty much. And I went back and forth, and you know, it was just fucking exploding. It was crazy. And then when I woke up in the morning and I was gonna go up and take my growth hormone, so like the right way to take your growth hormone is to take everything before you go to bed. I'm currently splitting it up between morning and night now, but that's very circumstantial. So I'm just letting you guys know that the official or the most scientific way to do it is to take it all before bed if you take growth hormone. But I was gonna take it in the morning as well. And when I went to take my growth hormone, I just realized that shit. Last night before I went to bed, I took the wrong syringe. And I injected all of the retatrutide that I had left. And that retatrutide was supposed to last me 4 weeks. So I thought that I took the growth hormone, but I took retatrutide. And I took all of the retatrutide that was supposed to last me 4 weeks. Now that's a lot of retatrutide. And I've been really talking good about the retatrutide for a while now because I truly believe that retatrutide is amazing. I believe it's gonna change the world, and it has changed my life, and it's gonna continue to make my life better. I'm gonna be a healthier person, I'm gonna be a more fit person, I'm gonna be leaner. I have to worry less about my cardiovascular system from the performance enhancers I'm taking. It's gonna be better for my liver, it's gonna be better for my kidneys, there are so many benefits, right? But sometimes I think that I look at all the benefits and forget that there are actually side effects. So there are two main side effects to the retatrutide. And one of them, I don't even think it's a side effect. I think it's a good thing, but that is just my logical way of viewing it. I suppose that other people could bring it up as a negative thing, dependent on how you see it, right? So the first negative thing, it is that it slows down your gastric emptying. Basically, from the time when you eat your food, it's gonna pass through your whole system, right? And it takes more time when you're on the retatrutide compared to if you're not. People would say that that's a side effect. I think it's a good thing. I think that if your body gets more time to work on the food that you put in, I think it's gonna handle the food better. I think it's a good thing. And typically, if you eat something that doesn't agree with you, you just shit it out, right? Passes through real fast. So that's when your body doesn't handle it good. I think that if you eat something and it takes longer for your body to process it, I think your body is gonna process it better. So the gastric emptying is considered a side effect in general, but I don't think it's a bad thing, to be honest. That's just the way I see it. The other side effect is actually a bad side effect, and it's what I experienced last night. It was not fun at all. It was not fun, and it's still like now, some time has passed, and I am still going to the bathroom, you know, back and forth, but not as frequent. So it has gotten better. So the worst was in the middle of the night, and then I went like a couple of times during the night, and then throughout the morning I went back and forth to the toilet, shitting badly. And having those burps. So I had those burps. Some people, now that is the side effect. That is like the one main side effect that comes with retatrutide for some people. So some people, when they start to take retatrutide, they will need to shit and they will puke. Some people will just get really bad in the stomach, right? They will shit and they will puke. Now, that's why when someone asks me about the dosing, I always tell them start really, really low. Start really low, and then just take it twice a week and slowly increase the dose. Because if you have that side effect that your stomach can't handle it, it's usually just a process of getting used to it. Okay, so it's not gonna be there forever. Your body needs to adapt. Now, it is really important now for me to say that I'm not a doctor. I do not recommend anything, and I do not take responsibility for what anyone chooses to do. But I'm just sharing my experience and my knowledge that I have gathered in order to become the best bodybuilder I can and the healthiest bodybuilder that I can. And I think this is really important to bring up, because I just had a negative experience from something that I've been promoting. So I've been promoting this, and now I had a really bad experience with it, and I feel like it's my job and it's my responsibility and it's a moral thing for me to bring up all the aspects of these things, right? Not just pretend that it's all good. So the bad side effect that I had to go to the bathroom, and it's still there, my stomach is still a little bit iffy. If you're looking to take retatrutide, there are a ton of benefits. And I've said in previous videos that I'm gonna take it for the rest of my life, and I'm still planning on taking it for the rest of my life. The only difference is, or it's not a difference, like if new data comes up, like longer term data, I will listen to that data, and if there shows to be a problem of some sort, because these things are pretty new, right? So there is no long-term data on it, but there are people with anecdotes, and that's where what people say, that they have had the experience, they have different experiences with different things. That's how bodybuilding works. That's why that's the big problem with the science-based bodybuilding right now. It's because most science-based bodybuilders say they're science-based, but they're not really science-based. They're science-limited. They don't do anything unless the science says so. But the problem there is that the bro science, which is a dirty word for experience, because it's basically experience, but they put the dirty word of bro science to it to make it sound bad, to make it sound like bodybuilders don't know what they're doing. Listen, bodybuilders know pretty damn good what they're doing, okay? So when it comes to this, it's a lot of experience with smart people and smart bodybuilders that are breaking down what they have seen, and a lot of coaches that have had a lot of athletes doing this. And the main side effect is that some people's guts just don't handle it, okay? And I believe that, listen, if you look at all the benefits, okay? So it heals your cardiovascular system, which is one of the main things for a bodybuilder. You want a good cardiovascular system. Like, as a following thing from that, like, what do you call it, the downstream effect, is that it's really good for your brain, right? Because your cardiovascular system, if it doesn't function properly, your brain isn't getting the oxygen. It heals your brain in different ways, okay? So it's good for the brain in many ways. It heals your cardiovascular system. It's good for your kidneys. It's good for your livers. It heals your heart, okay? It actually heals your heart from long-term damage that bodybuilder has done through heavy doses of performance enhancers across a long period of time. Retatrutide heals this, okay? Now, bodybuilders who have been on gear take the blood work, and sometimes it looks really bad, like really bad. And then they have gotten on the retatrutide and all of their values have improved, okay? Everything looks better. So for me, I was running 1 gram of testosterone, 1 gram of boldenone, EQ, and 1 gram of fucking tren, okay? I do not recommend you to try this. I'm just saying what I did. And I was running retatrutide. And my blood panel was fucking perfect. There was nothing bad with my blood panel. Like even the creatinine, which is pretty much bad for all bodybuilders. Like even if you just lift and work out and you take some creatine, you're gonna have high creatinine. That's just the way it is. For me, it wasn't. Now, it's not only due to the retatrutide. I'm also lucky from a genetic standpoint that my body is very healthy. And the way I always say this, if you have a car, right, and you want to build the best car, you want to, get that thing to the highest performance, if you're gonna ramp up the engine, you want all of the parts on the car to be really good, so that when you ramp up the engine, shit doesn't just start fall off. You don't want your car to break down because you're running your engine hard. And that is your health. If you're healthy and everything works good, that means that all of the different components of your car is functioning well. And when you ramp up the engine, shit isn't going to break down. That is your health. And that is the reason why I feel no worries at all about my health, even though I'm running anabolics, because I know that I have no weak links in my health. But let's say that if I had something that was not so good and I was running the engine really hard, maybe something may break. Okay, now that is both genetic, but now with retatrutide you can have a lot better health while running anabolics. And the way I see it, a person can run quite substantial amounts of anabolics and run retatrutide along with that and be healthier than the average person. So I guess that what I'm trying to say is that I had the bad experience with retatrutide by taking 4 times the dose that I was supposed to, okay? I took 4 times the dose that I was supposed to, and my body was used to. I have been to the toilet, let's say I've been to the toilet 10 times total and blown that shit out. It's not nice, but to experience that once, from taking 4 times the dose, and all of the health benefits that I have had, I still have to say that, man, it's worth it. Man, I can do this twice a month if I get all the benefits from it. I'm leaner now, and I'm healthier now, on a ton of anabolics and eating a not so good diet. I'm eating pretty good diet. Like people don't understand what a good diet is. It all boils down to the circumstances, right, and how your body works. So it's a lot more complicated than people want to make it seem. Because I have some sugar in my diet and it's still a good healthy diet because I understand the circumstances and how my body works and how it's going to process it, which is completely different from person to person and dependent on the rest of the diet. So my point is that I had the bad experience of retatrutide, which was not good, and still I think that it's completely, absolutely worth it, okay? But I want to put it forward that if you're gonna try retatrutide, you need to be careful with the dosing and you need to start low, okay? Now, I want to go back to the anecdotal thing, because everything now, when it comes to this, the best source of information regarding retatrutide is not necessarily the scientific literature, it is the coaches that has a lot of athletes running that stuff. So if the coach has, let's say a coach has 50 athletes running this stuff, and they can see all of the blood panels from each athlete and how it affects them all, that is worth a lot. So let's say, and that's where I want to come to, that a lot of bodybuilders and a lot of people has seen that it lowers the blood pressure. Now, the blood pressure is what kills bodybuilders. It's what kills people. So basically the way it works is that your kidneys is a filter. So your blood runs through your kidneys and your kidneys filter that so that all of the bad stuff you don't want in the blood gets taken out. If you have a filter and you let the water pour through in a good, like at a decent pace, it's gonna function, it's gonna work, right? But if you push the water through really hard through the filter, you're gonna ruin the filter, right? Like if you have a paper filter, let's say that you have a coffee filter, and the drops goes through and it filters through the coffee, right? It's gonna function. If you take like and fucking blast that shit with a lot, really hard, with a lot of pressure, it's gonna ruin the filter. And that's how your kidneys function in relationship to your blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure, you're basically pushing through the blood way harder through your kidneys, and that is gonna ruin your kidneys across time. And once the kidneys goes, I'm very, very sad to say this, but usually the heart is next after the kidneys. So, and once the heart goes, I mean, I don't need to explain that, you guys know, right? So which means that if you can lower your blood pressure with retatrutide, you can fix like the main fucking killer in bodybuilding. And it's not only in bodybuilding, but because a lot of people like blood pressure, it basically comes from being heavy. So if you're a heavy person because you have a shitty lifestyle, and you're bloated because you have too much salt and too much, well, you have too much of the unhealthy food, right? You're bloated, you're thick, you're full. Or if you're running anabolics and you have your estrogen too high and you're bloated, you're just too fucking bloated, right? That's gonna ramp up your blood pressure and it's gonna kill you over time because it's gonna ruin your kidneys. Retatrutide fixed this. Like it's not a bulletproof way. Like this is anecdotal, so people anecdotally see that retatrutide lowers their blood pressure. Now there's no guarantee for this. This is anecdotal, so there's no way to know for sure, right? But it seems like it does that very, very good. Now the main other thing that retatrutide does that is really, really good, it fixes your blood sugar. It manages your blood sugar perfectly, which is gonna mean that basically you decrease the risk of diabetes. And I believe that if you can have like people who are a bit heavy, a bit chubby, maybe even fat or maybe even obese, if they can manage their blood sugar better, they may not have to get diabetes. And on top of that, if retatrutide, which it does, it decreases your appetite. If you can eat less food, you can eat less carbohydrates, you're gonna get healthier, you're gonna lose weight and you're gonna get healthier, okay? Now, the thing that goes wrong is that people think that the retatrutide is gonna do the job for you. For sure, if it lowers your blood pressure, it does the job for you. And for sure, like, if it handles your blood sugar, it does it for you. But if you still eat like an asshole and you still consume way too many calories, it's not gonna help you. What retatrutide does is that it makes the job easier for you. So it makes it easier for you to stick to your diet. So as a bodybuilder, if you take retatrutide because you want to decrease your hunger, because you want to cheat on your diet, and then you decrease your hunger to the extent where you don't want to eat your good food, which makes you cheat on the diet because you don't want to have your good food, which means that you're going to turn to something that's easier to get down, and you start having a bad diet, it's not going to help you, right? So the thing is that it doesn't do the job entirely for you, it makes it easier for you to do the job. I'm gonna try my blueberry smoothie here that I've been staring at for 18.5 minutes. Man, that's good. That's good. This is like 50-50 healthy, I would say, but it's the first carbohydrates of the day, and I've already had 2 meals. Well, I'm gonna bring up something a little bit different, but I think this is all relevant to the subject because I'm doing this. Listen, I'm doing this because I think that if I can save people and I can get people to better health, it's fucking worth it. I can sit here for 10 hours if I know that I help one person to better health. And also on top of this, it's a game changer for bodybuilders. Bodybuilders are getting leaner now and better now than fucking ever before. Bodybuilders are getting lean and shredded and still maintaining their fullness. Oh, right, and one more thing. Some studies, right, suggest that you lose muscle mass if you run this. Now, why is that? If you lose weight and you don't train or exercise, you don't stimulate your muscle, and you don't eat protein, of course you're gonna lose muscle. That is not relevant for a person who goes to the gym and train hard and eat their protein, right? That's not relevant. It's like, of course you're gonna lose muscle if you drop weight, just weight, without training and without eating protein. Okay, so just the reason I brought it up is because sometimes I feel like people are jumping to conclusions too fast without actually looking at the reasoning why things are the way they are. Like if you really want to get the performance benefits, you want to interpret the data, you need to understand the circumstances. Okay, so like for a bodybuilder, no bodybuilder is scared for losing muscle because of retatrutide. Quite the opposite. We are gonna, like bodybuilders are losing fat and gaining muscle at the same fucking time because of retatrutide, okay? So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was with two men, two very famous men, right? One of them was 35 and the other 45. And they looked absolutely amazing. They both were very, very fit. They looked very healthy. They carried themselves well. Oh shit, it's starting to rain. They carried themselves really, really well, like professional men. And that's when I realized as a man, if you keep your health up and you keep progressing and you keep doing the work, you're gonna get better with age. And what I thought was that I want to look like I'm in my prime now, and in 10 years I want to look like I'm in my prime, and in 20 years I want to look like I'm in my prime, and hell, in 30 years when I'm 60 I still want people to look at me like I have never been better before, right? And that's when I made this. This is a mind map, okay? So I'm gonna hold it still for a second. You can pause the video if you want to take a better look, but I'm gonna walk you through this because I believe that this is my recipe to be healthy and stay on top of my game for the rest of my life, okay? So prime age long-term maintenance, which basically means that I'm gonna be my prime man in my prime age for a real long time. I'm gonna have a really long prime age. And basically I break it up to mind and body. So let's start with the mind. The first thing that's gonna age you is stress. Stress is the worst thing, like running high cortisol and high stress levels will kill you. Now, if you're a fast-paced person running high cortisol and you're using that to work, like you're using that as fuel, it's a completely different game. Just putting it out there. So the workaholics that are running high on cortisol, but they're actually using it, it's not killing them the same way. But for most people, I believe that stress is a killer. So how do I reduce my stress? First off, this is for me, but this is a mindset thing. I have no musts, which means that for me, I'm a performance person. For me, performance is always the thing. I need to perform. So I'm always pushing myself. For me, I feel like I get relieved of all the stress if I just tell myself, if I really don't feel like making a video today or edit a video today, I don't have to. Worst case scenario, you're gonna have to withstand one day without a video. If I really, really feel like shit, I don't want to edit, I don't want to record, I can just say to myself, I don't have to do it today. And that is something that is important for me, that works for me. Some people, they need a kick in the butt, okay? So this is just for me. And for if you can relate to it, if you can relate to being a person that put a lot of pressure on yourself, maybe you should keep in mind that most of the things you don't really have to do. Like if you're a parent, yeah, you have to take care of your children, but that should not be something that makes you feel bad. That should be something that elevates your day-to-day life. It should be something amazing. And I'm really, really envious of everyone who has children. I'm envious of you because I'm looking forward to that more than anything else in my life. Okay, next thing, trust my competence. Now this is about confidence, trusting my competence. So if I look back on my life, every shitty situation that I have ever been in, I've been able to solve and fix, right? Which means that I have felt a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety about things that I actually fixed, right? Now, was all of that stress and anxiety, was that necessary when I managed to fix it? I don't know, but one thing I know for sure is that if I look back and I realize that I'm a competent person, I can get by, I know how to speak to people, I know how to fix most things, and if I don't know how to fix it, I know who to ask to fix it. And if I don't know who to ask to fix it, I can ask someone who to ask to fix it, right? Like trusting my competence relieves me from my stress. And that is basically, that's confidence. When you know that you're gonna manage to solve all your problems and you can trust that, that makes you a confident person. And a lot of people, they lack that. A lot of people are competent enough to solve their problems, but they just don't have the courage to trust themselves. And that's why they're not confident. So they're not confident because they don't have the courage to trust themselves. If you just choose to be brave and have the courage to trust yourself, you should be confident. And then the last one on this stress reduction, knowing my security. So sometimes it feels like everything's gonna, if something bad happens, everything's gonna go like bad, and everything in my life is gonna be destroyed and gone and so on. So for me, I've realized that as long as I have like someone in my life that I can trust, I have my mom, I have 2 brothers, I have a lot of good friends, I have many, many, many really good friends. And just keeping that in the back of my head that I don't have a lot of savings. I can live off the money I have now on my account. I can live 3 months here in Da Nang. That's how long I can sustain myself. Now that is not much. That's not much, but it doesn't matter to me because I know that if shit hits the fan, if I lose all of my money, I lose fucking everything, and I end up on the street, I can ask someone if I can borrow their phone, and I can call my mom, or I can call my brother, or I can call one of my friends and can say, hey, I fucked up, brother. I really need help. I really need help right now. Just get me back to Sweden, please. Like, we can fix this together. I just need help. And whatever it costs, I'm gonna pay you back later. I'm gonna find a job, a different job, or maybe I will just grind harder on the YouTube channel, right? Which, by the way, thank you so much for watching this video. You are the reason why I can live my life I live now. You are the reason, because I'm currently living off my YouTube channel. You are my source of income, and I just fucking hope in my heart that I'm delivering you the value that you deserve for me to have this life. So knowing that I'm secure, knowing that if shit hits the fan, I have people who can help me. That relieves me from my stress, knowing that if everything goes wrong, I have someone I can call. Okay, so that's the stress reduction. Let's go to happiness, next one. Okay, so this is a really big one. They look at people who have gotten old and stayed healthy, and they realize that all of them have something in common. They have good relationships. They have people in their life. Like having a good relationship, if you're a lonely person, you're gonna die. You're gonna die a lot faster, and you're gonna live not as good life. Your life quality will be worse, and you will die sooner. So relationship is one of the absolutely main key ingredients to living a long and healthy life. So I've broken this down into 4 different types of relationships. You have the long term and the short term, and then you have the close relationships and the casual relationships. So you want long-term close relationships. That's your family. You want long-term casual relationships. That's like the guy you see at the gym now, every now and again, and you speak and you have some fun, but you're not close, but maybe you've known him for 10 years. Like every now and again you see him and it's still like that. You know, it's a cool dude. And then you want to close, like short-term close relationships. I think these are very undervalued, and there's a lot of confusion because this is like your love story, right? So you have a crazy love story. It lasts 6 weeks. You have the best time of your life with this amazing, wonderful woman, right? And if you're a man and that shit doesn't work out, you're not gonna talk shit about that girl. Even if it was her fault, you're not gonna talk bad about that girl. Shit didn't work out, but just appreciate the great time you had together. You had a great, amazing, close relationship, and it was short term, but sometimes that's just the way it is. Just be happy, just appreciate it, right? So that's the short-term close relationships. And of course that can be with friends, and so also, but I just took the love story because it was a perfect example. And then you have the short-term casual relationships, and that's when you say that, well, is it technically a friend, or is it technically just someone that you met? Who knows? What doesn't matter, right? Now the next thing here, I have gratitude. And like, I believe that gratitude is the key ingredient, and for some reason people just, I don't know how to help people to have gratitude, because every time I feel like I'm stating the obvious. If you're actually watching this video right now, you're doing pretty damn good, okay? You actually have you have a screen and you have audio and you can listen to me right now. And you have no urgent thing pressuring, right? Like, there are so many fucking things to be grateful that if you don't see them, I'm sorry, like that's all on you. That's all on you. Nobody else can help you. When I pray, sometimes I try to pray. I usually just end up saying thank you. Because I know that God already sees me. He already sees me, He already knows everything. I have nothing to tell God. God knows already. I just want to thank God for everything that I've been given and blessed with. Because I do not take it for granted. Next thing, goals. I believe that this is a key ingredient for a man to feel good. If you don't have a goal and you don't have a direction, you have no purpose in life. You have no meaning in life unless you know that you have a goal and something to strive for. And that goal, it can be anything. You need something that is difficult for you to attain so you can strive towards it, because the feeling good for me, that's why I'm a workaholic. I'm a workaholic, right? It's because it's the only thing that relieves my anxiety. It's knowing that I'm doing something to get me closer to my goal. If I don't do anything to get me closer to my goal, I get anxiety. Okay? So I need my goals to feel good, and I need to constantly work towards them. And that is the Swedish word for success is framgång, and it means forward walking, which means that you're successful as long as you're forward walking. In order to be forward walking, you need to know what forward is, what direction is forward, and that's your goal. Which means that as long as you're moving and getting closer to your goal, you are successful. And there is no better feeling than knowing that you put in the work to get closer to your goal. And if you have no goal, I don't know, I would feel like shit if I had no goal. Okay? So for me, that is really one of the main things. And then I have meaning, and usually meaning is like the purpose. Usually I think that most people will find meaning through relationships and family. And then the last point here, and I think that a lot of people haven't really gotten there yet, but I'm gonna share it because this is what I think is my purpose and my meaning. And it's giving, and it's giving everything. So for me, my goal is to become the absolute best person I can be and give that person to the world. I don't want anything back. I don't want anyone to give me anything. I'm just gonna be the best person I can be the best thinking person, the best, most loving person. I want to give everybody love. I want to give everybody positivity. I want to give everybody energy. And that's what I'm doing by becoming the best version of myself and giving that person to the world. Okay, so now this was pretty far from the retatrutide subject in the beginning, but I believe it's all linked together because I believe in living a long and healthy life. Let's go to the body, because now we're getting closer to what we're actually like, the retatrutide subject and all of that, because it all has to do with the body. Diet. First off, protein. Need protein in the diet. It's like the building block. So your body is constantly breaking down, right? And you constantly need to build it back up. You need the proteins to build it back up. Simple as that. Next one is less food. So I'm actually gonna, before I used to have the goal to eat as much food as possible without getting fat, because that was my strategy to build muscle, which is a good fucking strategy to build a muscle. I mean, if you can process 1,000 grams of carbohydrates per day without getting fat, that is anabolic as fuck. Make no mistake. But in terms of living a long and healthy life, that is not what you want to do. So there is actually a study. They tried to see how long they can make a rat live. And they have gotten the rat's lifespan up to the equivalent of 200 years for a human being. And they basically did that by starving the rat and keeping it, like, giving the amount of food that it needed to survive, but nothing less. So they just starved the rat. And that's how they made the rat live for 200 years, or the equivalent for a human of 200 years. So that says a lot that eating less food is probably a good thing. And there has been this thing, you need to eat, you need to eat, you need to eat to stay healthy. Man, I don't think that's what we should be looking at in today's society. Today's society, I think we need to eat a lot less. Fruits and vegetables, next one up. I believe fruits especially. I believe, sure, vegetables are good, but I believe that fruits, like the antioxidants, are great. Next up, exercise. Stimulate, don't annihilate. God fucking damn it if people just understood this. Going into a workout, doing squats, and then doing bent over barbell rows, and then doing bench press, and then doing deadlifts. man, that shit is not healthy. Sure, you get to feel like a fucking beast, and it's awesome and it's cool, but breaking your body down in that way is not healthy. Okay, and some people can handle more, some people can handle less. Like there are a lot of different things that play into that, how much you can handle. But just knowing that you want to challenge your body, but the day after your workout, you're not supposed to wake up and feeling like you've been in a fight. Everything is not supposed to hurt. And that took me a long time to learn, and god damn it, I'm still holding back. I want to go into the gym and train like a fucking animal, but I just know that it's stupid. And it's not gonna grow more muscle. If you stimulate your back in a smart, efficient way, let's say you're targeting your lats, and you're contracting and stretching and contracting and stretching, and then you do it until you can't do it anymore because the muscle reached failure. You did everything you could do, right? And you did it probably in a smart, efficient movement pattern that's gonna stimulate your lats and not break down. Like you're not supposed to like have that tension running through your entire body and you stiffen up and like getting a headache after the set. There's no reason for that. So if you do it in a smart and efficient way, and you don't need to do the heavy barbell movements. You can do them if you enjoy them, but like beating yourself to the ground, that is not healthy. And that is not gonna make you live longer. And listen, I'm gonna say something now, okay? There is no reason ever for a bodybuilder to have joint pain. There is no reason ever to get injured in the gym as a bodybuilder. If you have joint problems in the gym, it means that you're not skilled enough at moving the weight. As a bodybuilder, you want the tension on the muscle and not on the joint, which is a skill component. So it's a skill. You need to train that and you need to develop that. But there is no reason to ever have pain in your joint as a bodybuilder. And I have not had pain in my joints for many years now. The first 5 years, I had a lot of pain in my joint, especially the first 4 years, because I was doing the power building thing. I moved heavy weights, but I didn't move them with my muscle. I put a lot of the tension on my joints in order to move heavier weights. That's not bodybuilding, okay? And there's no reason to ever have joint pain. If you have joint pain, just take some BPC 157 and some TB 500 and solve that shit. And do it immediately, right? Those things work a lot better when you do it immediately. If you wait 10 years, it may not be able to help you. Okay, challenge the heart. Okay, so I believe that doing some low intensity steady state cardio, like walking, is really good for your cardiovascular system and your health. And then I believe on the other end that bringing your heart to a maximum heart rate, that's really, really good as well. So I do a lot of walking, and I make sure that when I train my legs, I take my opportunity to take that set really, really far. So if you do a set of 5, that's not gonna be able to reach your maximum heart rate. But if you do a set of 15 reps, and maybe even a drop set or something like that, that's gonna take your heart all the way. Or at least for me. If you're a beginner, maybe you're not able to have that output yet. But for me, that does the job. Last and final one, this is the good one, this is the best one. Biohack. Or it's not the best one, but it's the sexy one. It's the one related to the retatrutide. Okay, biohack. Testosterone. For me, it's a key ingredient. You can maintain and keep a good, healthy level of testosterone naturally for a really long time. But at some point, it's gonna decline, right? And at that point, maybe you're 35, maybe you're 40, maybe you're 50, or maybe you're a freak and you're at 60 and you still have good testosterone, right? It's all different, and a lot boils down to your personality and how driven you are, and a lot boils down to your circumstances, like what's your environment, right? But for me, I would be able to have a healthy testosterone level in my age now without taking anything, but I chose to do the bodybuilding route, and now I'm doing that by biohacking. I can choose my levels, and people will be like, before you start to say that that's bad in any way, why don't you just sit down and figure out why it's bad? Because I really want to know why it would be bad, because I cannot see it, and I have put a lot of hours into thinking about this. So yeah, I believe in testosterone. Growth hormone. Growth hormone is the shit for health. Like if the one bad side aspect to growth hormone, it is if you have cancer, the growth hormone will feed the cancer as well, right? So keep that in mind. If you know you're diagnosed with cancer, don't do the growth hormone. Otherwise, it's so good. So growth hormone is a long chain of amino acids, which means that it's a long chain of building blocks. And if you, let's say that you you need to build your nail, right? You want your nails to grow, or your body gonna repair your nails, right? Your body takes one amino acid at a time and puts it in its place, and this needs to be the right amino acid. So you can't just put any amino acid, it needs to match your DNA, right? Puts one at a time. Growth hormone, it's a long chain of amino acids, and within these structures, there are like, let's say that within these structures, there's one part right there that has 10 of the amino acids in the perfect order to grow your nail. So instead of your body having to put one amino acid there at a time, you just take all the 10 and bam, which means that your nails are gonna grow faster. Your hair is gonna grow faster. Your skin is gonna be nicer. You're gonna have nicer skin from it. Everything in your body will heal faster because the chain of them, there are so many different combinations, great combinations within the growth hormone structure, that it's like shortcuts. But it's not a shortcut that it's bad, it's just a more efficient way. So let's say that instead of building a house brick by brick, you just come up to the building site, construction site, and you just put up a wall that's already built brick by brick, right? That's the growth hormone, and it does it in so many different ways. It's so good. I do not recommend you to do anything illegal. I'm just giving you information. Okay, next one is GLPs, which is basically the retatrutide. I've talked a lot about this, but I'm gonna continue talking because I believe that I can change lives. The first GLP was Ozempic, which basically just decreases your hunger, which is actually something that's gonna fix a lot of problem for a lot of people. Just eating less is gonna make you a lot healthier. GLP-2, tirzepatide, it helps to do it with the insulin aspect, which means that your body is going to use the food more efficient, which means that tirzepatide is better than Ozempic in an objective way. And on top of that, a lot of people felt dizzy and sick with the Ozempic, but they got rid of some of that with the tirzepatide. So the tirzepatide is better in that way too. Now with the retatrutide, it helps with the glucagon as well, which means that it is actually a fat burner as well. So from a performance enhancement aspect and a health aspect, retatrutide is amazing. Last and not least, we have some peptides, okay? And I don't know everything about all of the peptides. Well, no one does, but it's a little bit of a disclaimer here because I am limited in my knowledge, and sometimes I get questions that I do not know the answer to. Just putting it out there first. We have BPC 157. It stands for Body Protective Compound, right? It protects your body, it heals your body, and it's gonna heal injuries. Like if you have a surgery and it usually takes, let's say it takes 3 months to heal, maybe you can heal that in 1 month, right? If you have knee pain, maybe you can heal that shit with BPC. And it's also great for, it's great for the brain. Not as good as TB 500, but it's good. It heals your gut. It heals the inside of the gut. So most people have gut damage because of just unhealthy lifestyle, right? They like the inside of the gut is not so good. BPC heals that in a great way. Okay, so BPC is great. I can like the amount of people that have been helped with this, like, I wish I had more knowledge that I specifically could point at the different data. I don't. If you want to look it up, look it up. It's gonna heal your injuries. TB 500 is very similar to the BPC 157, but it does a couple of things differently. One thing is that it's really, really good for the brain. So it heals your brain. In my opinion, that's a pretty good thing. That's a pretty damn good thing. Next, I have added in copper. So it's a peptide basically, but most people are copper deficient. If you add in copper, the reason I have it in here is mainly because it helps your skin, right? It's gonna improve your skin a lot and it's gonna decrease acne. And in my opinion, that is one of the things that is worth a lot if you want to look fresh and you want to look like you're in your prime even when you're 50. One of those things is having great skin. I have not tried copper myself, so I don't know. I cannot attest to that, but on paper it looks great. And last and not least, I have the mitochondria. Now, I have not dug deep into the mitochondria because I don't need it. I already have great energy, but I'm gonna break it down real simple and fast. So, our bodies do not produce energy by itself. It's not DNA. Our human DNA does not have the ability to produce energy. So there is a symbiosis Basically, there's a different species that has found its way into us humans, and we are working together, okay? So inside of our cells, we have this thing called the mitochondria, and it's basically what produces energy. So the mitochondria is basically our power bank, it's our battery. So mitochondria helps us with the ATP, basically energy, okay? So as we get older, the mitochondria, which is not human DNA, it's a symbiosis. I hope I say that word right. It's basically when two different animals or species are collaborating in a win-win situation. So basically, the mitochondria benefits from being inside our human cells, and we benefit from the mitochondria because it gives us energy. It helps us get energy. So it's a win-win, right? And as we get older, the mitochondria gets older as well, which means that it's not going to be as good at producing energy as it was when we were younger. And some people, really smart people, say that if we can help the mitochondria not to age, the mitochondria to continue being as fresh as it was when we were younger, that we don't need to age at all. Some people say that the only reason we age is because of the mitochondria getting old and tired. Now, there are a lot of things we can take to get the mitochondria better now. Guess what? We can keep the mitochondria going so that when you're 50 years old, you're going to have the same amount of energy as if you were 20. Let that sink in for a moment. And also that energy is going to make sure that your organs repair. So you're going to repair your organs, right? Because you have the energy to do so. So there are a lot of things that you can take for the mitochondria. There's methylene blue. That's I think that's completely legal as well, and you can take it orally. And then you have the MOTS-C. The MOTS-C is really powerful shit. If you're gonna take it, look it up. Look up the doses. Look it up real close, because if you take too much of that shit, it's like plugging yourself into the wall. Like it's like too much power, right? So you need to be careful with that. But it's like amazing. And then there's this compound. Man, I have my friend from Gothenburg. He's really smart and really good with this, and he recommends it like above anything else. He says he takes it daily, and it has changed his life. He went from walking around tired all the time, not feeling like shit all the time, to feeling like a new, fresh human being. Man, I need to look what's the name. Give me 1 second. This is hilarious. I used Google to search, right? And the funny thing is that like a lot of the things that shows up when I search my mitochondrial support, it's like exercise and health and all of that stuff, which basically just two things. First off, it means that Google is kind of politically correct, because I mean, if it doesn't bring up MOTS-C in this question, it means that it is really politically correct, because it's really relevant. And the second thing is that it proves that there's no way around being healthy. Like if your diet is shit, man, your diet is shit. I mean, there's no pill to fix that. And if you don't exercise, you don't exercise. There's no pill to fix that. But there is one thing that they put up here that is really good, and it's L-carnitine. So L-carnitine is really good to support the mitochondria, and it's going to give you a lot of energy. Bodybuilders use that in combination with the growth hormone as well, and a lot of other stuff, in order to get into shape and get shredded. So it helps a lot. It burns fat, basically. It helps your body get energy from fat. So L-carnitine is great. There's a pill form, so you can take it orally, but it's not the same. Like nothing you take orally is going to work and function as good as an injection. And when you inject everything, pretty much the general rule of thumb is if you inject stuff, the oils, like the testosterone, goes into the muscle, and the water-based supplements like growth hormone goes into the fat. Okay, so like the whole trend of injecting your testosterone into your fat, that's bullshit. Just putting it out there. I'm gonna continue to look here. So I actually had to message him, but he's great at responding. I was looking for like 10 minutes trying to figure out what it was, but then I just messaged my friend from Gothenburg, who's he's really smart when it comes to biohacking. Helps me out a lot. It's called glutathione, okay? And glutathione has changed his life completely, from being tired all the time to having a lot of energy. So glutathione is probably the last ingredient. Now, there are a lot of things that goes into the mitochondria stack, Basically, if you feel tired and like you've been tired for a long time in terms of energy, the mitochondria may be the way to go in order to hack your way to having a lot more energy, like as if you were younger, right? Now, some people just have low testosterone, then you need more testosterone, right? So it's like, there's no way to say that if you're tired, this is the way to go, because there are so many different things, right? But usually, like the first go-to is usually testosterone or mitochondria. So yeah, that's it. I hope you liked the video. If you liked the video and you appreciate my effort I'm putting in, I would appreciate if you support the channel by subscribing. Other than that, I wish you nothing but great health. I wish you all the love in the world, and I hope that you take care of yourself. Peace and love. I'm out.